Hello, this is not the end. Crochet, better throw that in. There's a lot of knots floating around. I've been thinking about doing a video like this for a while now, but I'm just now getting around to it. So you can know more about me. I'm going to tell you about my history with crochet. And I had to kind of write it out because it's a long history. I mean, we're talking 50 years. So I had to write it out. And I hope you don't mind if I crochet while I'm talking. Okay, I first got introduced to crochet in the 5th grade. I was 10 years old, and I was going to this elementary school. And before I got to that school, because our school system, you switched around a lot to different schools. But before I got to the school system, my older friends or associates in the neighborhood would always say, you don't want to get this particular teacher. You don't want to get her. And I was like, okay, I don't want to get her. I don't want to get her. Well, I got her. That woman was mean. So I gotta know why they said you don't want to get her. Ooh, boy, she mean. Anyway, she would sit up in class and crochet. She would do granny square afghans. Most of them would be predominantly black, but the squirrels inside would be like different colors. I remember there being a red squirrel, a yellow squirrel. What else? Well, it would like fluctuate back and forth. And she would sit up in class and crochet. So I guess, I don't know if she got called on it by the office, but she decided that she would sort of teach us how to crochet, and that would give her an excuse to do so. So she demanded that everyone in the classroom get some yarn and a hook. So I was scared to death because money was tight then, and I said, my mother would never go for that. She would never go for that. And I come home from school, scared to death, and asked her. And she was like, yeah, let's go get it now. I said, huh? And she said, come on. And there was a 10-cent store up from this neighboring town, and they had yarn and crochet hooks. They had, back then, it was only like 2 main ones. What it was, a Susan Bates and a boy. And she got me a Susan Bates. I don't remember what size it was. And I had the hook for years, but with everything that got lost during the move, those hooks got lost too. I'm kind of sad about that. But anyway, she got me a Susan Bates. It was kind of an ash blue color. I don't know what size that was then. And she got me some yellow yarn, little skein, little bit skein. So I said, okay, yay, I'm going to learn how to crochet, whatever that is. And I went to school with it. And everybody had their yarn, everybody had their hooks. And the teacher, the mean teacher, didn't teach us anything. She still sat up in there and crocheted. Now, that was kind of smart on her part, because if it looked like she was crocheting and we all had our yarn and hooks out, then it looked like we were crocheting too. So each day after lunch, she would give us time to fiddle with our yarn and our hook. I didn't learn squat from her. Not a thing. This little guy in the class, his name was Scott. I can't remember his last name, but I can see his face in my head. He taught me and some others how to do the slip knot and the chain. His mother had showed him how to do that much. And that's all I knew for a long time. So what I would do is I would practice. I would make the chain, take it loose. Make the chain, take it loose. Make the chain, take it loose. I remember being outside just doing that. Because, back then, oh man, Kitty got the zoomies. Back then, there was no internet, nothing like that. So you had to sort of entertain yourself. So that's what I would do. I would practice chaining. Now, before too long, I figured out how to do the slip stitch myself. I had no clue. I just started playing around with the chain, and I figured out how to do that. And I wasn't even sure that was a stitch. It was flat and kind of curved to one side. And I said, I can't do nothing with this. And all I could really do with it was make a wallet. Because I figured out how to turn the corner and come back around, and everything would be on a spiral instead of jumping up to the next row. So, it beats nothing. And I was like that for a long time. Well, the next time I came in contact with crochet, my aunt from Cleveland, Ohio came to visit. And she had an Afghan with her, a little small Afghan. And if you can remember, if I can find it, I'll post a picture. It used to be on my bed. I still have it. And that's what, like 40 years? It was like trimmed in bright orange, had all these bright colors. And she taught me how to do a granny squirrel. Almost. She taught me how to do, let me see if I can remember the stitches. Single crochet and a half double. Those are the ones that she taught me. I think she didn't teach me how to join them. I figured out by looking at her Afghan how to join them. Yeah, that's what happened. Okay. Because, they stayed for a week and went back to Cleveland. And after that, I asked my mother, I said, well, I'd like to try to do this. Can you get me some more yarn? And she did. Now, I would go with her. She would pay for everything. And I didn't know about measuring and how many yards and all that. So I would get like only one skein at a time until I needed more. And then she'd take me back to the store and I'd pick out something else. Now, I was so green about crochet that I thought because my aunt's Afghan had weird colors that I had to do weird colors. So I had like lime green and bright yellows and oranges, and ooh, it was loud. It was louder than my aunt's. But the one thing about it, my aunt, she taught me how to do granny squirrel. Like I said, almost. She didn't teach me how to knot the end. That's where my name comes from. Because that was just a travesty. I was so proud of the little Afghan that, Mama put it on the living room couch and, people would come in and say, oh, that's so pretty. But every time they would sit down on it and get up, a hole would come in the middle or it'd come unravel on the end. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. And I was so outdone. I did all that work. It had bored me to tears. So I said, well, what am I doing? What am I doing? And I was just so frustrated. And I didn't want to do it no more because I thought it was ugly. And tell the truth, I think it was ugly. And I just was so aggravated. I took that Afghan and threw it in the trash. And I mean, that was something. But I didn't give up on crochet. My grandmother wanted a hat. I made her a hat. Don't ask me how I did it, but I did it. I dropped a stitch in it, and every time she would have it on, I would see that stitch. It would drive me crazy. I'm like, give me that so I can fix it. But I couldn't. She was so proud of it, and I'm like, no, Granny, no. But that's how it is. That's how it went. The next time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I came in contact with crochet, I was in middle school. And there's a girl on my school bus. Her name was Sandra Falls. She was crocheting. She was sitting back behind me on the left side. And I just happened to turn around and I saw her, and she was working that hook. She was making a rib beanie. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she can crochet. So I like traded out with different kids on the bus. I said, let me go back there. Where she at? Well, and they like, well, I don't want to move. I said, move! I need to get back there. so, yeah, well, all right. You got to move. I said, whatever, move. And I went back there and I sat beside her. I said, you know how to crochet? And she said, yes, I do. I said, can you please teach me? And she smiled and said, I sure will. And she taught me how to do a rib beanie. She taught me how to shape things according to how I want them to look. Decreasing and increasing. She showed me all of that. What else she showed me? Yeah, she showed me everything. She even showed me how to knot the end. So, and I am forever grateful to her, because she's really the foundation of what my crochet knowledge is built off of. That, along with trial and error. And I'll never forget her for that. And years pass and things come and go, life happens. And I would pick crochet up, make something, put it down. Pick it up, make something, put it down. So the next time I came in contact with crochet, my late fiance, and I'll post a picture of him, his mother, when I started dating him, she would always be sitting in the back room of their house crocheting. Now this woman was an advanced crocheter. She could do it all. Cables, lace. She was the queen of chevron stitching. And you might have seen it. I'll take a picture of it and post it. But she did an Afghan for me. And it about covers my whole bed. It was pink, beige, and green. You might remember seeing it if you've seen some of my early vids, because it used to be on my bed. It's up in the closet now. But she was one heck of a crocheter. Her chevron stitching was so sharp. I mean, it would cut you like a knife. It was so sharp, just up and down, up and down, up and down. And she tried to teach that to me. But I wasn't interested in them little piddly stitches. I wasn't interested in that at all. When her son, the guy I was dating, when he would come in from work, I would be there with her in the back room. I see him. I said, well, okay, I'll see you later. And I put that hook and that yarn in a bag, and I went about my business. I was traipsing in behind him. Oh, did I mention he was, well, you probably see, because I'm going to post a picture. He was fine. He was fine as all get out. He was really fine. 6'5", nice. He was fine. Did I mention he was fine? Yeah, he was fine. I wasn't interested in no crochet with him around. The odd thing about it is that he told me, after all of that was said and done, that she got mad that she, got mad that I wouldn't come to crochet with her. That when he would come in, I would leave her and, go with him. I told him, I said, well, that's just tough. Because I'm here to court you, not her. Which might have been my folly, because ever since that happened, woman hated my guts. And, I mean, she really hated my guts. Because it got to a point where at one time, my mother was talking about going to that woman's house and beating her tail. And I'm like, okay, I can't tell mama anything anymore how this woman treating me. Because it would just go boom. So I wouldn't tell mama anything else how she would treat me, but she was horrible to me. Okay, the next time I was associated with crochet, like I told you, I would pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down. My mother had to have surgery, and I also worried about her being put under, that I needed something to occupy my time. So I bought a new hook and some yarn, and I made that snood that I showed in one of my videos. And that's probably why I can't repeat it, because it's tied up in emotion with her being, put to sleep. And when they was operating on her, and when they announced that she was out of the operating room, I made the last stitch. That's how much that snood is tied to her. And on that snood, I did stitches that I didn't even know how to do. I might have seen them, but I didn't know how to do none of that. That's just how much stress I was under. The next time I came in contact, remember, I'm kind of long in the tooth. Next time I came in contact with crochet was when they announced the shutdown for the pandemic. I said then, I said, well, if I'm going to be confined to the house, I can't go nowhere. I said, I'm going to take this opportunity to actually learn about crochet. And I talked with my nephew, and he told me that YouTube had like videos on there that could show you how to crochet. And I said, you sure? He said, well, they got everything else. And I said, okie dokie. So I checked it out, and I said, hey, look at all this. So I went to Hobby Lobby, got some yarn and hooks. Went to Walmart, got some more yarn and more hooks. And I settled in for the pandemic and watched videos. And my skill has skyrocketed. Just, I knew some things. Some things I had actually figured out, but I didn't know what I know now. So in a weird kind of way, the pandemic is sort of responsible for my skill level. Which is, I'm not a beginner, and I'm like between easy and intermediate. But, if I had paid attention and did what I was supposed to do, I would be farther along than that. Now, sometimes I'm intermediate when I'm adventurous. And then sometimes I'm just laid back and, well, I don't have to do it like that. I'll do it like this. It's easier. That's how it goes. And that's my history with crochet. And I hope to learn a lot more before all is said and done, because I really enjoy it. And I hope you enjoy it too.